Raising venture capital is one of the most competitive professional environments on the planet. You have a better chance of getting into Harvard than you do raising from top-tier VCs. But some people are able to get it done every time. And the reason is simple. They know the rules of the game. They know how to fundraise better than anyone else. And so because of this, fundraising can be a bit of an insider's club. Either you know the rules and you're inside the club, or you don't and you are left out. No VC will invest in you. Luckily, in this video, I'm going to break down 7 golden rules of pitch deck design to help you get checks fast. So the first thing you want to do when building a pitch deck is to keep it short. By short, I mean really your main content should be about 8, maybe 10 slides. And this applies to whether you're angel fundraising, seed stage, or even later stage. My Series B deck was still only about 10 slides. The reality is the more slides you have in the deck, it doesn't make your deck better. It actually gives the VC information overload. And when you're meeting with venture capitalists, you want to give them enough to get excited, but not so much that they have time to really analyze the business in a way that might turn them off. So you don't want to put every little thing about your business in. Just put in the main highlights. And ideally, the best parts of your business are in the front of your deck. So if your product's awesome, that's early in the deck. If your revenue is growing like crazy, that's early in the deck. You want to hook the VCs with a short and powerful deck that really gets them interested, and then you make some time for Q&A. This is where the second part of your deck comes in. So you have a short core deck, but you have a thick appendix full of all the answers to questions that VCs might ask. So they might ask, well, how do you think about this very specific competitor? Flip to the slide, boom, here's a breakdown of exactly how we think about that competitor and why we're going to beat them. Maybe they ask, well, how do you think about the revolution of AI and how will this affect your business plan? Flip to that slide. You should have an appendix for almost every common question you get asked. It shows 2 things. 1, you know your business better than the VC. They think they're asking questions that you've never thought of, and boom, you flip to it, you already have the answer. But also it shows that you're prepared. This isn't your first rodeo. You've been meeting with other VCs. They've been asking similar questions. You have it all outlined for them. With these 2 sections, your short deck and your thick appendix, one mistake I see founders making all the time is bad design. Like it or not, design matters, and it matters a lot. A professionally designed deck will raise so much more than a poorly designed deck. It's not a simple math formula. It's not like if your deck is 20% nicer, you will raise 20% more venture capital. It's a binary game. So either you will get the check or you won't. What I see most people screw up is they try to do the design themselves. Listen, I get it. Funds are tight, you're trying to save money. Oftentimes, the entire process from meeting to check is only a couple hours of FaceTime with the venture capitalist. So every second counts and you need to build the right impression. The decks that I used to raise over $20 million were very cheaply designed. I paid maybe $500, $1,000 per deck, but it looked so much better than what I could do myself. So pay for design or get a professional designer involved. It will make a world of a difference. In addition to good design, one of the things that founders often screw up is they have too much text. So if you go to the slide, it's all over the place. Text, like a consultant deck or something. This is not the way to raise venture capital. You want to think logos over text. So let's say you went to Stanford. Rather than writing out Stanford grad, you want to drop in the Stanford logo. The eye is going to recognize that and immediately click. Versus if you just write the text, they might gloss over it, they might read it, they might not. So as you're going through your deck, try to include logos where you can. Now, another tip for building perfect pitch decks is to have customer validation everywhere. Ideally, nearly every single slide of your core deck would have some sort of customer quote. So it could be a customer saying your product changed their life, could be a customer saying they couldn't live without it. You want to collect a number of quotes from your customers and simply drop them throughout the deck. You're constantly showing validation that what you're building works. People love it, they couldn't live without it. And so investors need to invest in it so it can grow into a real business. The 6th golden rule for building a pitch deck is it is a highlight reel, not a tell-all. This is a mistake a lot of early stage founders make, is they try to just give too much information. You want to just give the highlights of each particular slide. So if it's a problem slide, you're not outlining every little problem in your market. You're just saying this is the core problem that we're looking to solve. If it's your team slide, you're not listing every single team member, every single advisor, every single intern. You're just listing the core team members, the highlights of your team. So if there's a salesperson that's particularly impressive, you might list them because of their background. But if you have 5 salespeople, you don't list all 5. You just say we have 5 sales team members. My rule of thumb for this is if it doesn't leave a really strong impression by including it in the deck, it's by default removed. You want to make sure you're just giving the highlights. And the last tip for pitch deck design is to memorize your numbers. I can't tell you how many pitch meetings I've been in where someone asks a question and the founder doesn't know the answer. They're flipping through the deck. Oh, I think it's 5 million. No, wait, it's 6 million. Actually, no, it was 13 million last year. Not only does it drive me nuts, but it ruins your chances of raising capital. You should know every single number on your deck and numbers that aren't even on your deck. So if a VC asks something like, what's your monthly active users? And on your deck, you only have weekly active users. You better know your monthly active user number. It is so unprofessional not to know your numbers, but the sad reality is most founders fumble when it comes to this. If you stick to these tips, I can basically guarantee that the chances of you raising venture capital drastically go up. This is what I've learned from years of fundraising out in the field. Not theorizing, at home what works. This is from real actual pitches that I've done. But the best way to combine these tips is with a perfect pitch outline. You want to have a pitch deck that really nails the target and gets VCs interested. Lucky for you, I just filmed a video on how to build the perfect seed stage pitch deck in just 8 slides. I'll link the video over here so you can check out. It'll give you everything you need to know. Just click the link and I'll see you there.